I'm Matt from Untitled Tarot. Welcome to another weird and wonderful video from my prayer room. Okay guys, today I want to share something with you. And I thought it was quite a fun little exercise to do. It's not going to be a long video today, but I thought it'd be quite a fun little exercise. And I'd like you down below, after this is done, to follow my lead and tell me what I'm about to tell you about your deck collection. Okay, so the very first thing I want to share with you, oh, there you are, is my most expensive deck. Now, before I show you what this is, I want to just explain to you that this deck was gifted to me for Christmas by my fiance because I was wailing and crying and screaming like a bitch because I wanted it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, fuck, I really need that. I got it and realized that it is not a traditional tarot deck, okay? It is a deck by Raven Felon, and it is called the Dreams of Gaia. Can you see that? I hope nothing is shining on here. I'm going to try and move it around so that you do get to actually see this thing. Okay, it's a big box like this. Now, it is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. This is a beautiful, beautiful deck. It costs an arm and a leg. And when I actually started using it, I realized it's not your traditional tarot deck, even though it says tarot on there, okay? It's not. So if you do get this deck, it is very expensive. In South Africa, it was very expensive. It was about 800 rand, South Africa. That's a lot of money. If you do get this deck, be aware that it is not a traditional deck, but it is a deck that you can learn to work with like that. Okay, so this is my most expensive deck out of all my 750,000 decks. And it's called the Dreams of Gaia. Jumping from my most expensive deck to my cheapest deck. Now, everybody has told me about the Marseille tarot, and I know about it, and there are a lot of people who actually work with it. And yeah, it's a pretty sweet sort of deck. I have never been able to work with the Marseille, but having said that, I feel that everybody should have a Marseille deck in their collection, even if you never open it. It's the same as having a Thoth deck. You should just have one, even if you buy it cheaply. Anyway, I knew I'd never use the Marseille, so I went and I got this. Look at that. Just look at it. It is flippin' minute, okay? It's the teeny tiny Tarot of Marseille Mini. Cost less than 50 bucks here in South Africa. Really cute deck. I don't ever have to use it, but it does sit on my shelf. Okay, and I look at it, and every now and again I want to haul it out and I want to practice with it. And of course I don't, and I never will, and I know I never will. So there's my cheapest deck in my entire collection. Okay, the Mini Marseille. Then we come to my very first ever deck that I bought. Now, this is not the actual deck, but it's the same deck. Okay, I've just replaced the old one that I bought 50 years ago. Okay, well, 20 years ago. And that is, of course, the Ryder tarot. This is the original Ryder. It's not the fancy schmancy white weight and all that sort of thing. This is the original Ryder. And what I've done, I'm not going to show you all of them. What I've done is I've actually aged them. I've aged mine. So you can see it's kind of, I don't know if you can see that. It's aged. It's all fakey, okay? It just looks really old. It's all fake. It's dyed with coffee and tea, and I actually buried some of these in sand and left them out overnight. It worked wonders, but I couldn't do it with the entire deck because I was a little bit scared. I did, however, stand on a couple of these after they were tea stained. I threw a couple on the ground and I stood on them with shoes. You can do all kinds of weird and wonderful things to age your cards. But anyway, this was the very first deck I ever got, was the Ryder Smith. And the reason I got it is because I was learning tarot. It was many years ago. I was learning tarot. And everybody said to me, look, Ryder Smith is the deck to learn with. So that was my very first deck. Now, I want to share the cutest deck that I have in my collection with you. This is the cutest deck. And I've got some really cute decks. I've got a couple of animal decks and one or two fairy decks. Anybody who's followed my channel for any amount of time will know I'm not into animal decks, certainly not into fairy decks. The animal and fairy decks that I have are very specifically chosen. Okay, I don't just collect animal decks. But this little deck, I had to have it. I had to. It's a tarot in a tin. It's by US Game Systems. They tend to specialize in this little tarot in the tin. And it is called the Gummy Bear Tarot. Who else has this? Comment down below. I want to know who else has this, the Gummy Bear Tarot. And I have to show you. I know I've done a review, but for those who haven't seen the review, I have to show you. I'm going to show you like a few, just a few. Bear with me. There's the Hanged Man. Okay, it's Gummy Bears, guys. It's Gummy Bears. It is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. There's Justice, and it has been reimagined as Gummy Bears. I am in love with this deck. That's the back of the deck. Okay, you can read reversals with it as well. Look at this. It's the cutest thing. This is definitely the cutest deck I've ever seen, let alone have it in my collection. The Gummy Bear Tarot is the cutest deck ever produced in the whole pantheon of decks. I think this is the cutest deck. And I have used this, believe it or not, and it reads really, really well. It's a sweet little deck, and it reads really well. So although it is the cutest deck, it is a very readable deck. It's not something that it's not a gimmick deck. It really reads well. So that's my cutest deck. Oh, let me put the paper. It comes with a little paper book. My cutest deck is my Gummy Bears. And then last but not least, I want to show you my strangest deck. Now, there are a lot of weird decks out there. Guys, there's some seriously fucked up decks out there. But the weirdest deck I have is, it's actually quite beautiful. And yet it is very disturbing at the same time. It is called the New Era Element Deck, or Elements Deck. It's by Leonora F. Piper. She has a PhD. And that's what it looks like. I don't know if any of you have seen this. It's not one that I see a lot on YouTube. I do know that some people have it, but it's not a very popular one. It's published by Llewellyn. Now, it is a very strange deck. You see, it's very modern. But I want to show you why I say this is so strange. The entire deck is in like a sepia, but a lot of the pictures are, the actual artwork is very disturbing. For instance, this is Judgment. There's your Judgment card, okay? This is your Death card, all right? There are some in here, I wonder if I can find them. Please bear with me. I just want to see if I can find a few of these cards. They are super disturbing. There were one or two that are, I mean, look at this one. This is cruelty, okay? And here we have destruction. Each card has got its own little name, okay? I don't think I'm going to be able to find the one I'm looking for. It is just, this here is the Fool. Oh, this deck, it just freaks me out. I don't really use it a lot because the artwork is, some of the artwork is truly disturbing. And to me, I've got a lot of dark decks and I've got a lot of strange sort of, I mean, you'll know I've got a couple of Russian decks, Russian here, Russian there. I have a couple of like really odd decks, but to me, this deck affects me on an emotional level that my other decks, any of those decks, they don't affect me the same way that this deck does. And it is purely because of the artwork, and the artwork lends a certain weird and a very restless energy to the deck. So that is why I say it is my strangest and weirdest deck. I use this as a dark deck, even though it's not your traditional dark deck. I use it as a dark deck. So what is your cutest deck? What is your first deck? What was your favorite deck even? I'm not going to tell you what my favorite deck is because I love them all. But let me know in the comments. I really want to hear this. Keep it short. Let's just do a little list of like the best, the worst, whatever. Yeah, let me know. I'm dying to hear. Okay, guys, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot. I will see you next week some more. Talk Tuesday.